through 5 competencies via master classes. One is the information and data literacy competence, then also the problem solving competence, and also the digital content creation competence, and communication and collaboration competence, and digital safety competence. All these we are led by Metropolitan College, University of Nairobi, University of Johannesburg, University of Dar es Salaam, and also University of Nairobi. Our participants cut across 8 countries: South Africa, Kenya, Germany, Greece, Brussels, Estonia, Tanzania, and the USA, all within a period of 3 months. We're able to run these 5 master classes on the different on Zoom page. And at the end of the day, looking at the old numbers for the master's classes, we have more than 1,500 participants. So we engage with PowerPoint presentations, Kahoot quizzes as tools during the various master classes, and also using TED Talks, Slido, Canva, and Zoom platform also. Then our method include non-formal education and peer-to-peer learning, where we also demonstrate to participants that attended each of the master's classes, and they were able to try things also on their own with feedback via Zoom, Slido, Google Form, and feed them. Thank you very much, everyone. That is work package 5. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I believe Lexia from University of KwaZulu-Natal will continue with work package 6, right?
Good day, everyone. I'm Lexia from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and we were the leaders for work package 6, which is the skills for 2030. Next slide, please. So skills for 2030 had a strong focus on transversal skills. So this particular package focused on seeing how do we stay relevant in a world that's fast changing due to AI and the various digital platforms that have been developed. So the goal here was to actually bring attention to something we've always known, which is that soft skills are critical. But now we look wider at different types of transversal skills. So on the screen, you can see the skills we had mentioned in this particular package. However, we focused on 4 critical skills, and that was critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. So the first 4 on this list, and we refer to them as the big 4. So ultimately, the goal was not only to shed light on its importance, but to also help participants develop these skills, to find avenues on how they can continuously develop as professionals, also in an effort to become more employable in the future, and see what do employers need and what do they value in prospective workers or employees. Next slide, please. So to this end, we had 5 virtual exchanges. So with the first virtual exchange, we started with an introduction to transversal skills, where UKZN hosted. And here we touched generally on what is a transversal skill. We even looked at practical examples like CVs. We looked at adverts for jobs, and we saw what are employers looking for. And we also then went into time management, adaptability, resilience, and those types of skills. This was followed up by teamwork, critical thinking. Next slide, please. Creativity and effective communication. So after going through these various workshops, you would have had opportunities to develop these skills and to find the relevant platforms that can continuously assist you. So this is the key information of overall what did we accomplish in work package 6, and some of the statistics that we would like to share with you. So here we have the registration and participation information per event. We had very good registration from all our partners and a total of 1,720 registrations in total. From all of this, we had 617 unique individual participants, meaning these participants would have joined various virtual exchanges throughout this work package. We also noticed that there was very strong continuity, meaning participants joined more than 2 workshops in the series. On screen, you can also see, previous slide, please. On screen, you can also see just a few examples. We've included some pictures. So the first one is a Slido from one of our virtual exchanges. So throughout, we included these platforms like Figma, Slido, Mentimeter, etc., just to make everything hands-on and give you an opportunity to practice the things which you have learned. It was also good to see a rise in female participation. Statistics are on screen. We also had a lot of youth participating, with 62% of our participants being between the age group of 18 to 30. So that just gives you an overview of what we accomplished in the package and what we had done. Next slide, please. So why I included this slide, those of you who attended our very first workshop in the series would have also seen this slide. And I think for us, this was what made everything worth it at the end, is this realization that yes, things are changing very fast. There's AI, jobs are being replaced, but understanding that despite these changes with AI and navigating the digital landscape, human creativity, intelligence, and innovation become irreplaceable. They become so much more important. And that was the idea and the driving force behind this work package, is how do we develop these skills? And at the end, we should actually be paying attention and not just develop these skills throughout life and embedded in all the things we do, but actively seek to become better in all these fields, better at communicating, better at teamwork and collaboration, etc. So for me, that was the main takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we should continue with the University of Venda, who will present us Work Package 7 and its results. Susan, should you?
Good day, everyone. Okay, good day, everyone. My name is Dipo. My name is Dipo Mashfani, and I'm standing in for Prof. Maluta. So I will be presenting a summary of Work Package 7 of the DigiUP project, which focused mainly on strengthening digital and transversal skills among students and young professionals across Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa. Next slide, please. So Work Package 7 formed part of the DigiUP initiative that connects universities and youth organizations through virtual exchange, aiming to equip students with skills needed for today's rapidly changing labor market. So this work package, it mainly focused on enhancing digital skills and the transversal skills. And we had 2 expert-led sessions, with which one, it was on the digital skills, while the other one was on the transversal skills. And this was meant basically to introduce participants to essential digital and soft skills, providing expert-led sessions that that basically offered practical and career-relevant knowledge, promoting intercultural dialogues, as well as strengthening the employability by helping students understand and showcase these skills in their CVs and professional profiles. So part of our methodology, it involved a very highly interactive student-centered approach, which it involved 2 virtual sessions that were held through Zoom. And then we also had also a hybrid session, with which it was also a physical one, concurrently running with the Zoom session. So this methodology then it involves a non-formal education techniques such as your typical discussions, your question and answer sessions, as well as brainstorming sessions. And then part of our engagement, we use tools like your Slide or your Kahoot. And then part of the recruitment processes, they were done through universities, your youth networks, social media, as well as ensuring that we get cultural and academic diversity. So on the first session on the transversals, on the first session on the transversal skills, it was hosted by Nairobi, in which the students were conscientized on the difference between hard and soft skills. And then they were also engaged on key transversal skills such as communications, teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, as well as critical thinking, and how to develop these skills and effectively include them in their CVs. So part of the participation here, we realized that 476 people registered with 264 that attended. So the feedback showed that most participants, they gained a much clearer understanding of transversal skills, as well as their relevance in the professional and personal settings. So the session on the digital skills was hosted by the University of Venda in a hybrid session, which combined both a physical meeting and a Zoom session. So here the expert covered the role of digitalization across key sectors such as your health, retail, finance, as well as education, due to the increasing demand for digital literacy. And here we see that over 90% of jobs now require an element of digital skills. So here, looking at the participation, we realized that 407 people registered, but the turnout was only 49. So this could be attributed perhaps due to issues pertaining to the examinations in terms of our partner universities as well as here. So, but then even so, the most important component is that participants, they valued the practical demonstrations as well as the insights into how these digital tools apply in real world professional settings. So part of the key takeaways here are that we had improved understanding of digitalization as well as transversal skills. And then now students had indicated that they had a much greater confidence in applying these competencies in academic and work environments. And there was also new awareness in terms of how to showcase these skills in the CVs. So part of the recommendations here is to strengthen the digital literacy programs by integrating some of the hands-on activities and structured learning programs. We need to also ensure that we promote intercultural dialogues as well as providing additional training on transversal skills. So with that said, on our conclusion, next slide, please. On our conclusion, basically the work package 7 successfully delivered impactful learning experiences that prepared the young people for the evolving digital labor market. The combination of the digital skills and transversal skills, they are basically essential for career readiness, adaptability, and lifelong learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's now proceed to the Slido. Alkistis, can you please?
Yes, thank you. We are going to have an interactive discussion about which DigiUP result inspired you the most. I shared with you the link on the chat, but you can also either scan the QR code or use the code to enter. You can find the link also in the chat. So let me know if everything works fine. So, yeah, great. So I can already see full typing. Yula, do you mind if I share or if you want to share the slide?
No, okay. You could share. Give me a minute, please. Okay, now.
You should be able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, with the answers. Perfect, okay. So yeah, the question is which DigiUP result inspired you the most? You can use what you heard for the past 25 minutes and basically write down what you remember, what was the most impressive for you, what you inspired you to learn more or do more about it. I see that people are still writing, but so far the critical thinking skills are really standing out as long as the transversal skills. If anyone would like also to open the microphone and share anything, maybe if someone cannot write, it's also fine. Yeah, so we can see that the critical thinking, the transversal skills, the communication skills, digital pedagogies are the ones that they are more prominent. I guess we can wait for a few more minutes to see if there are other ideas. Perfect. Thank you all for sharing your input. And now I'm going to give the word to Alexandros Stenidis from Acme. He's going to...
No, it's cool.
He's going to do a presentation about the
Cool.
trends in education, and I believe,
Okay.
Alex, that you have your co-host, so you can share. So when you're ready, please start sharing your screen.
Amazing. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I believe now you can view my screen. Let me just expand it. Great. So I'm Alexandros Sainidis. I'm a knowledge manager, which means that I deal with all the educational material, with the trainings, and anything that has to do with learning and organizational knowledge. And I've actually have instructed within DigiUP as well. So today, for a very short session, we will talk about digitalization trends in education. And we shall begin with a really simple question on why is education subject to digitalization in the first place? Obviously, you have a lot of opinions on that and you can answer it. But for me, the digital realm relies on the utilization of data, information, and knowledge. And if you see, what we call IT is essentially information technology, right? So that alone is a giveaway that anything that has to do with technology is in fact the manipulation of information, the creation of knowledge, and gathering people who can make systems smart. It's not magic, but rather mathematical skills applied like that, right? And education relies on imagination largely, which technology helps to structure in virtual worlds with multimedia. And as well, during COVID-19, we started experimenting more with digital tools in education. So essentially, the advances in technologies came at the same time when we were forced to really do what we would teach in a digital format instead of the traditional one, right? And also, the job market requires digital competencies, while artificial intelligence is a game changer in both education and work simultaneously. But of course, it's not just AI. Digital competencies encompass a wide range of skills, and we've seen that in digital competencies for educators as well. But to give a concrete example, a job position that would simply require Excel skills, spreadsheet-related skills. Now they may even ask you that you know MATLAB, which is the library used in Python. Just as a simple example, right? So what are the trends? Let's take a look at them. First of all, more and more and more data. Formative assessments specifically, which we have talked within the project as well, generate more data about students in combination with certain tracking software and hardware to support that software. For example, even on websites, there are software where you can have heat maps that explain where users spend most of their time. So maybe students spend more time on certain parts of a platform because it's interesting or because it's hard. So even some things that are related to the behavior of the student can be tracked much more easily. However, as a consequence, more effort is required to cross-check this data, eliminating noise, as well as looking at longitudinal data. Longitudinal data means that we are not just looking at a snapshot of a classroom at a certain day, at a certain year, but rather we are focusing on how the student is going, or the school or the class, within a long range of, for example, 5 years. Maybe we want to see how students are once they graduate from the university and track them for 3 years. And for that to work, you need the consent and the collaboration of the student, which means that you still need engagement largely, even for something so numerical as data. Then we have a very big boom of JavaScript-based interactive applications. Almost anything, any tool that you use, Padlet, Figma, Formative, Quizlet uses JavaScript. But what I'm specifically referring to here is that there are more versatile solutions given to teachers, such as H5P, such as Genially, such as Articulate, Rise, Twine, which is open source, by the way, along with H5P. And these are either codeless or low-code software for educators. So even if I'm teaching political sciences at the university, for example, I don't need to know how to code to use them. I just use them because they're very user-friendly. And however, to move forward, to move even further and create even more custom solutions, JavaScript knowledge, along with solid CSS and HTML5, of course, will be in demand in digital education. However, even if you're struggling, you can still do what we call vibe coding, which is using ChatGPT to produce the code for yourself. There are many mixes of methodologies that you can combine, basically. Then we're going to virtual collaborative tools. You might remember Figma from this screenshot that I use. So first of all, it's a safe space for shy students to express their views, and students are more quiet after COVID. This is something that we have observed. It's great for creative applications and for note-taking. So you are potentially not using it for collaborative spaces, but you're just using it for note-taking. It's very efficient. You can use visuals, and you have noticed, you surely know that when we're writing text, it's linear and it's vertical. When we're using a board, it's not just vertical, it's also horizontal. So this is something that students are very receptive to. Some students organize their thoughts much better in such a two-dimensional space rather than a one-dimensional one. And I believe it will also be used in face-to-face settings and will partially replace digital boards, because it's often much more simple to have students with their own laptops or laptops provided by the institution to them, rather than having a digital board. So it's not something for remote collaboration. You are in face-to-face, but you still use these tools in a more blended way. Then we have advanced solutions for accessibility, and there are so many, but I will just give two to express two extremes. One extreme, some very simple solutions that make the difference, is, for example, color coding or coloring the text on a browser, on a PDF, for dyslexic readers. Whereas people with mobility problems can, for example, use eye tracking software in order to click. So those cameras, this eye tracking software can actually sense how your eye muscles react exactly, so that they understand if you're just looking at something or actually clicking with your eyes. Now, I'm sure many of you also know what this is on the image. It's a segment from Pokemon Go, which is the most famous example of augmented reality. So immersion, having the students become participants in very immersive experiences, is something that we will see also as well, either in virtual reality or augmented reality. Virtual is entirely built up in 3 dimensions, so you're essentially looking at your screen like that, or augmented reality, usually through the phone, where you're using the cameras of the phone, or wearing wearables like the Apple Vision Pro or the Ray-Ban glasses that do have augmented reality as well. And this will also create virtual worlds with new economies and values. For example, people value skins, people do like digital dresses and things like that, but also have a different understanding of some alternative currencies. It's built, of course, on constructivism, which is the idea that we use, that most of the conditions we face are results of ideas and language, which I personally don't agree in the real world, but in virtual worlds, yes, they are very constructivistic, and education is very strong in constructivism. And more use of realistic simulations and games with elaborate scenarios and quantitative elements. Then we have a UX UI revolution. Technology is becoming easier and perhaps too easy, and that's a bit of a problem, because we see more and more feedback from students going to occupational settings, and we hear that they're great at using TikTok, for example, they're great at using social media, but they don't know how to use basic things on the computer to do administrative work. And of course, the largest trend, in my opinion, is having a virtual and personal Aristotle, your own AI tutor, because it's very expensive to have an Aristotle for everyone, right? It's bad for GDP. Greece's GDP cannot support such a thing. But having AI at the scale we have them, it's great for having a tutor that can match the speed of learning of a student. So if they're slower, the AI helps to ramp it up. If the student is too fast, AI introduces more challenges. However, a good tutor can understand the balance between guidance and letting go for critical thinking, as well as understanding that availability 24/7 is also a problem, because it's good to have sessions where you can have the help of the tutor, and it's also good to have a free afternoon at your own thoughts, at your own resources, your own thinking power, in order to autonomously increase your critical thinking. So at the end of the day, it's all about digital balance, being able to understand where the digital should start, where the digital should end. And you see cases like, for example, the more increased use of paper in Sweden, for example. And Sweden, for example, is a cashless society. So in different realms, they're much more digital than the rest of us are, but we see that they understand the importance of digital balance. They understand where students must be on their own, where students must use analog traditional methods, and where they must be digital. So I thank you all for your attentions, and of course, hopefully you gained something new and useful for you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Sorry, technical issues. Perfect. Thank you very much, Alexandros, for the presentation and the very interesting insights. So now, Yula, can you please share again the QR code for the slide?
Yes, of course. Second.
Oh.
Perfect, thank you. So now if you use again the same code or screen again the QR, you will be able to see the second question, which is which the digitalization trend do you believe will have the greatest impact on education? So you can take your time and start adding your insights. So Yula, now I can share my screen with the answers if it's okay. Thank you.
So let's check some answers here. I see gamification also, which I'm very happy because I didn't mention gamification explicitly, but you understood exactly what I meant when it came to some of the interactive uses. Amazing. AI, yes. I think a lot of people like AI here, from what I see. I agree. It will change both how we approach work and how we approach education through this, because work also has expectations of the graduates, right? So the expectations will adjust, and it creates this virtuous or vicious cycle depending on how we really handle that. AI and gamification, yes. We also see some cases of AI developed games, like purely using AI prompts. So even the problem, with the problem with gamification earlier was that it's either too generic, or it's very costly to create a good and custom video game for a school, right? But if you use AI to develop one with the brand identity of the university, with certain mechanics that match the skills that are being discussed, yes, it becomes a much cheaper option too. So I'm really happy to see the combination of AI and gamification. Amazing. Personalized learning systems also, yes. I think that the difference here, what you're trying to imply is that personalization doesn't only come with AI, right? So you can have also supportive systems that do help with the personalization, perhaps with some architecture and design from the professors who know that student as well on a personal level. So they can, of course, support to implement it like that. So, for example, this platform could have access to the AI tutor only on certain hours or certain days. Amazing. So I think we saw some really good and insightful answers from you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing their ID. Milano, que este micrófono. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for sharing their ideas. If no one else is writing, now we can proceed with the breakout rooms and explain what we will do next. But first,